Hello, and welcome to the Coach Right podcast, where we explore how to turn coaching expertise into published pages. I'm your host, Helen O'Neill, portfolio career specialist, accredited future of work coach, author and creator of Coach Right 90, the writing programme specifically designed for coaches. You can get the episode show notes and your free guide to publishing options at coachright.co.uk. It's time for the next chapter. Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the Coach Right podcast, where we turn coaching expertise into published pages. My name is Helen O'Neill, and I'm recording this on Saturday, the 25th of October, 2025. When I launched this podcast, I committed to you that a new episode would launch on the first and third Wednesday of the month. That timeline was deliberate. We've all heard the stats around longevity of new podcasts, and I didn't want to be one of the ones that ran out of steam because I'd run out of time. I knew from speaking with friends who host podcasts that each show would take around 7 hours to record, edit and transcribe. And as I run my coaching practice as part of a portfolio career, I had to be realistic about what I could deliver. And so, twice a month was the cadence I decided on. The trouble is that twice a month is not the same as fortnightly, and the 5-week months have been niggling at me. And so today, we have a bonus episode. In these minisodes, I'll share insights into topics that have come up in conversation during Coach Right 90. Some of these topics I talk about on the blog, which you can access at coachright.co.uk, or get straight into your inbox by signing up for the free newsletter. And for those of you that are listening to this show because you're a coach who aspires to write a book, Coach Right 90 was designed for you. The next cohort launches in January, and I'll be running a few free workshops in December so you can get a flavour for what it's like. Those are running on the 3rd and 4th of December. They're interactive, they're live, and spaces are limited. They all went the last time I ran them. If you're interested, you can grab a spot at coachright.co.uk/workshop, and I'll put the details for those in the show notes. I can't believe I'm talking about December already. Time really does fly. Which brings me very neatly back to today's topic, time. Now is a brilliant time to write a book. And it takes a bit of time to write a book. And let's be honest, you're busy. And while you might really, really want to write a book, the main thing holding most people back is their belief that they don't have time. Before I was a coach, my career was in change management, and it's something I still do on a fractional basis. My job was literally to manage people who manage time for a living. Like coaching, there were different methodologies, different preferences, but ultimately it was about turning an aspiration into a deliverable and then getting it done. And isn't time such a fascinating area? We all know intellectually that we have the same number of hours in the day, and we live in a time where we have more choice than ever before about how we use those hours. Yeah, ask someone how they are, and they'll likely say busy. Ask someone why they haven't done something, and they might say they didn't have time. And as we've said, for an aspiring author, the number one limiting belief getting in the way of getting words on the page is that all-important time. And just so we're clear, no one is saying that you're not busy or working hard as a coach. Maybe you're internal and balancing the needs of three-way contracting, client diaries and variable buy-in to the process. Or maybe you're in private practice and balancing the needs of marketing and content creation with delivery and development. And that's before we talk about the rest of your life and various commitments we all have. Adulting is time-consuming. And like any transformational goal, you do actually need to set aside some time to write a book. You'll often hear me say, it's not something you just sit down one rainy Sunday afternoon and do. Change often starts as the seed of an idea, and I'm sure many of you listening will have made similar observations in your practice. The client that's thinking they might like to change career or break through a ceiling or develop a skill. Writing a book starts that way too. The seed of an idea that won't go away. A transformation you've been on and want to share with others. Research you've conducted for academic purposes that you want to bring to a wider audience. Conversations you've had where someone helpfully suggests, there's a book in that, you know. And so you start to dream about what it will feel like to hold your book in your hands and to have someone tell you it helped them. You might not think about it all the time, but it keeps resurfacing until eventually the stars align and you decide the time is right to write. Now all you need to do is work out how to fit it in. Now, I won't insult your intelligence by pretending you don't know how to find 15 minutes in the day. You can get up a bit earlier, watch a bit less television, take a lunch break. You can write on the train, scribble on the sofa, or dictate as you walk down the street. You don't need to sit down for hours on end, lock yourself away in a cabin, or decline every social invitation you'll receive until your book is done. But you do need to write something. One of the classic books on writing is Bird by Anne Lamott. The title for the book originated in a family story from her childhood. Her brother had been set the task of writing a report about birds. He became overwhelmed by the task and hadn't made any progress on the project, with a deadline looming. Lamott's father sat next to him and said, "Bird by bird, buddy. Just take it bird by bird." These days, the idea of breaking big goals down into small manageable tasks is a popular one. We talk about habit stacking, eating the elephant, practice making progress. And all of these things are true. I've interviewed a wide range of coach authors over the past few months, and how they fitted writing into their schedules nearly always comes up. Let's consider a few ways people get their words into the world. First, we have the 5 a.m. club. Narinda from episode 1 used this method. If that feels like a bit too early, let's be honest, the clocks have just gone back. You could consider just getting up a little bit earlier than you normally do. This technique works well because it encourages you to write before you do anything else. A lot of famous authors throughout history got up early, made a coffee, and got to work. This technique clearly doesn't work so well for parents of very small children who also like to get up at 5. We often talk about time as a choice, and if choosing to get up earlier makes you shudder, look for somewhere else you can reclaim your time. Imagine how much free time you'd have if you weren't on social media. Imagine how much time you'd have if you didn't have a television. Now, both of these examples are probably a bit extreme, and the chances are you need social media for your business and you find watching television in the evening relaxing. But be honest with yourself. Could you reclaim a few hours a week from one of those places? Most of us probably could. Build your writing into your routine. If the muse knows you're always at your desk at 7 a.m. on a Monday, which coincidentally is one of our Scribe Circle writing sprints, it will show up there too. Katie from episode 3 scheduled time during the working day to both prioritise the project and protect her family time. Put it in your diary, habit stack it if you need to, but get into a rhythm and you'll soon normalise what once seemed impossible. Many people advocate writing every day, and this is good advice when you're a new, aspiring author. Staying close to the manuscript helps with momentum, even if you only add a sentence. Some boundaries are useful here too. This might mean switching your phone to Do Not Disturb, telling your family to give you some quiet time. Make sure the time is defined as writing time and not free time where you sort of hope you'll write if you get a chance and nothing else comes up. Because if you don't, before you know it, you'll be doing the washing up instead, which, while home cleanliness is a wonderful thing, is on nobody's bucket list. For those that benefit from accountability, Telling people you're writing a book is a powerful commitment. Paul from episode 2 recommended this. Put it on LinkedIn and share your journey. People love to know how other people write books. Or, slightly less scary, join a writing group where others are on the same journey as you. Community is a wonderful motivator. Once you have an idea of when you're going to write, think about where. In this world where the boundaries between work and home have blurred, having dedicated spaces is really useful. I wrote one of my first books at the library, and now I very rarely write at my desk where I work. I prefer to write on the sofa or in bed, which is terrible for posture. Pick a coffee shop, pick a time, and commit to showing up. And lastly, decide when you're not going to write. Henry Miller, the writer and painter, defined 11 commandments. Number 7 was keep human, and this was way before AI. He said, see people, go places, drink if you feel like it. Of course, that drink could be more coffee, but the point is, writing is supposed to be a joy, and publishing is an achievement. None of it needs to be a slog. Rest is an important part of working towards any goal. Experiences and human connection fill our creative well, and you need your creative well to be full when you're writing. So if you've been thinking about writing a book and you're not sure if you have the time, maybe reflect on how you'd help a client who is experiencing similar barriers to their goals, and let that seed of an idea that you have for a book grow. So today's show has been a little bit different. I hope it's been useful, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Just like testimonials are vital for our coaching practice, reviews are important for podcasts. So if you've been enjoying the show, tap the stars or share a few words that will help others find us. Next week, I'm joined by Colin Tapscott, and we'll be talking all about his book, Everyday Alchemy. Have a great week, and I'll see you for the next chapter. Thank you for joining me today. You can get the show notes and your free guide to publishing options at coachwrite.co.uk. Remember to subscribe and leave a review on your podcatcher of choice. Your words can make a difference. A review can too. If you'd like to connect, find me on LinkedIn, O'Neill Helen, that's O'Neill, O'Neill, or on Instagram at Helen O'Neill Coaching. I'll see you for the next chapter of Coach Write.